In this problem, I need to solve the equation 3x squared plus 19x minus 14 equals 0. Well, what type of equation is it? What's the highest power on any of the x's? It's a 2. So it's a quadratic equation. How do we solve quadratic equations? We're going to first of all try to factor it, and if it doesn't factor, then we're going to have to use the quadratic formula. So let's look at our steps in solving a quadratic equation by factoring. We need to write it in standard form. That means everything written on one side in descending order, 0 on the other. Is that already true in this case? Yes, I have 0 on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side, everything is in descending order. So step 1 was done for us. Step 2 says factor. So remember, when we factor, we compare it to ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is the coefficient of the x squared, it's 3. B is the coefficient of the x, it's 19. C is the constant term, negative 14. So we multiply a times c. 3 times negative 14 is negative 42. I need two numbers that multiply to negative 42 and add to b, which is 19. Multiply to a negative, signs are different. Add to a positive, the bigger one has to be positive. So I'm going to start with negative 1 times 42. They multiply to negative 42. Negative 1 plus 42 is 41. Not the number I want. Does 2 divide into 42? Yes. 2 goes into 42 21 times. So negative 2 times 21 is negative 42. Negative 2 plus 21 is 19. Yay! That's the number I'm looking for. So these numbers that I just found are not my factors. That is what I'm going to break down this middle term into. I'm going to use these two numbers to rewrite my positive 19x. So my equation now becomes 3x squared, and instead of my plus 19x, I'm going to write minus 2x plus 21x, and then finally my minus 14 equals 0. The reason I did this is so now I have 4 terms and I can factor by grouping. So what do the first two have in common? They have an x in common, and it's going to leave me with 3x minus 2. Bring down the middle sign, plus. What do the last two have in common? I think they have a 7 in common. And 7 divides into 21 3 times, so I'm going to get 3x minus 7 goes into 14 twice. Factoring by grouping only works if these two binomials are the same. Are they? Yes. So I'm going to get 3x minus 2 is my common binomial factor that I factor in front. And who does it leave behind? X plus 7. So now I have factored it. Remember, how can I check this step? You can fold this step out to see if you land up with your original equation. Step 3, set each factor equal to 0. 3x minus 2 equals 0. X plus 7 equals 0. And then solve each of these equations. So on the first one, I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and then divide both sides by 3. So I get x equals 2/3. The second equation, just subtract 7 from both sides. X equals negative 7. So there are my two solutions to this quadratic equation. How do you check them? If you want to, you plug them back into the original equation one at a time to see if you land up with a true statement. But remember, you do not have to check your answers.